Welcome everyone to today's EDC webinar. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes, but thank you so much for being here.
If people in the chat want to put what kind of business they have, that always helps me tailor the talk. Well, so let's see, John, Business Development Officer, City of Moore Park. Cool. So if people want to put in the chat what kind of business they have or who they work with, that always helps me for this talk. Yeah, coffee farm processing sales. Hi, Lisa. Samantha, City Manager, Simi Valley. Andrea, Secretary for Moore Park Adult School. Nice. I like adult schools. I've taken so many classes at adult schools. I took how to speak Italian, don't remember anything. I took how to write a memoir. I took how to make dim sum, how to do Thai. I took guitar. That was 8 weeks. I can't do that. My friend that I took with me to do guitar, first class, bam, 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 perfect. Me, no. Let's see, marketing director for MFT. All right, so marriage family therapist. Those are important. Everyone needs to go to therapy every week. Let's see, Carolyn, carpet cleaning company, commercial, residential. All right, let's see.
Again, welcome everyone. We're going to give it just another minute. If you want to put your name and what your business does in the chat, that would be great.
So then we have the learning, the learning centers, the franchises, the come on, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, I see those a lot. They're all over the place. Those are good. Let's see, communications coordinator for City of Oxnard. All right, I like that. That's true. We're talking about reputation management, so city people like that. Yeah. Let's see what else. How many people are on here right now? 20? We'll see.
All right, well, I think we'll kick it off here and we'll repeat the majority of information again at the end, and we'll get going so that we can hear the great information from David. So again, welcome everyone. My name is Tracy Schneider. I'm the Economic Development Collaborative's Communications and Marketing Manager. We are so excited to have you join us today. Before we get started, we're going to review just a few housekeeping items. This Zoom event is held in webinar format, so everyone is muted and your cameras are off. This is being recorded and you'll receive an email with a link to the recording and any resources we talk about, as well as the PowerPoint slides early next week. Please submit any questions you have using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you're dialing in by phone today, you can submit questions via email. Email your questions to webinar@edcollaborative.com. Again, that's webinar@edcollaborative.com. But if you're joining us via the computer today, you can use that Q&A button. If you run into any technical issues, please put them in the chat. Stephanie Gonzalez, our bilingual marketing assistant, will be available to support you. For our new and returning friends, we thank you for joining us. Since 1996, the EDC has been focused on providing a pathway to business growth, economic prosperity, and high quality of life for all. Today, the EDC serves Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Los Angeles County-based businesses, community partners, and civic leaders. Hosting the region's Small Business Development Center, the EDC provides no-cost professional consulting with a team of over 50 business advisors. And as a community-based lender, our loan program has funded over 21 million in requests and has maintained a commitment to reaching underserved communities, with 58% of our loans and 64% of our loan capital awarded to minority and women-owned businesses since 2013. At the end of today's webinar, we'll share all the information that you need on how to get signed up for our services. Signing up as a client is free, takes just a couple of minutes, and provides you with lifetime access to all of our no-cost services. Our excellent staff and advisors are ready to help you build the business that you've always wanted. Today, we're going to discuss online reputation management. Our presenter today, David Mitroff, is one of our very own Small Business Development Center advisors. The best part about him sharing with us today is that if you want to work with David and have one-on-one consultations with him, you can. We'll share the instructions on how to get signed up and set up with David at the end of the webinar. For now, enjoy the presentation, and I'll hop back in when we're ready to answer some questions. David, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like I'm at Disneyland every time you do your introduction because it's so like perfect and it's nice.
Thank you.
It's like I'm ready to go on the Jungle Boat cruise ride. All right, so this slide here says I'm famous. I've done a lot of stuff, and I have started all kinds of companies, and I teach a lot of places. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can. So what we're going to cover today is the 4 pillars of reputation management, branding and assessing your current online presence, creating content and distributing press releases, because part of it is reputation management is like, well, we can protect, but then you want to do things to build your brand. Then we're going to talk about review sites, including Yelp, managing issues and response charts. What is your current reputation or reputation management, and responding to issues, and do something. From workshops like this, you want to go out there and actually do something, hopefully, to grow your brand. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat or the Q&A as we go. And I'm more than happy to just answer them as we go through, and at the end too, if you want. All right, so the 4 pillars of reputation management. So you want to assess your online reputation. So this is something that is a good idea to do. Go to Google and Google your name, Google your business name, Google your brand, Google some of your employees, and just Google and see what's out there. I do it every once in a while, and I'm always amazed what shows up. It's always, hopefully it's good stuff, but what shows up, and it's like, oh, there's this new video, new pictures, new whatever. It's interesting when you Google your name or your company name, or kind of the things that you do also. So if you Google if you do business consulting Oxnard, and see what shows up, and why do they show up? Why don't I show up? And that's search engine optimization, but still, like, how are you showing up, and where are you showing up? Okay. And identify any problems. And sometimes there are problems. Now, reputation can also be like, oh, we have a problem. And I get calls for that sometimes. And I help them try to fix that depending on what it is. But if search results show up that you're not happy about, or results are not relevant, or they're not right, or there's negative comments on platforms like Yelp or other sites, or depends on your industry, Travelocity, or rate my doctor, or Vitals, how can you address bad news or bad coverage or bad information? And then it moves into building a reputation. So how do you protect yourself and your brand? Well, there's all these platforms coming out all the time. It's like, do you need a username on every single one of them? No, but as a platform becomes more popular, it doesn't hurt to get it, especially if you're like David Mitroff. I know there's 2 other David Mitroffs in the United States, or in the world, I guess. And so I want to make sure that if you go to LinkedIn, or if you go to some platform or Twitter or whatever, that I have David Mitroff. And then when you do go out and claim a lot of things, especially if you don't use some of these platforms, you can go into privacy settings and set it where nothing can happen. So I can't post on it, you can't post on it, that kind of thing. And so at least you have it, you own it, it's yours, it's locked down, and let's see what we got. Then you want to monitor your reputation by setting up Google alerts and things like that. So basically, you go to Google, you do a search, and you say, save my search. And if you do go to Google and save a search, it's free. Anytime your name or your company name or a certain thing that you're tracking shows up, you get an email. So what I do is I have different searches. I have my David Mitroff, and I have my consulting firm, and I have some industry related stuff like about new restaurants or new law firms or new things that I like to work with and pay attention to. And if those things come up, I get an email. I also have one on MC Hammer because MC Hammer, he's really cool, and I never know what he's up to. And if MC Hammer is ever mentioned, I get a message. Oh, MC Hammer was just mentioned. All right, cool. So, and it's totally free. And if you get too many, adjust it. But it makes you, it's really helpful because anytime my company or myself mentioned in the news or on Google or somewhere, I get an email, and I click, and it's cool. You can get one a day. You could get it as it happens, one a week, whatever. It's like Google searches, Google Save My Search or Google Alert, things like that. You can also go to Twitter and search for things or whatever. But basically, you want to monitor and have alerts and then be able to respond as needed. And I'll go through response charts later. All right. So what things do you want to monitor? And I talked about this a little bit on the assessing part, but basically you want to monitor your brand and understand that people spell things differently, your competitors. I don't necessarily believe in competition. I believe that other people that do what I do, we can share knowledge, share clients. The idea of the abundance mentality that the world is so big, and I can only work with only a few people. I mean, that's just the way it is. And then categories, you search by different categories and set alerts or search. And then also I follow experts or influencers in my space to stay ahead of things and to be able to learn and know what's going on. Again, if anyone has any questions about anything, you can put it in the chat. This stuff so far is pretty straightforward. And then again, popular tools. Some of these are, I think this slide's a little old, but you have Google Alerts and you have Hootsuite, TweetDeck. There's also later, later.com. There's also buffer, buffer.com. So later, later.com, buffer, buffer.com, Hootsuite. Those platforms all do the same thing where I'll use later. So later, what you do is you go into later and you set up your next 30 days of tweets, of Facebook posts, of LinkedIn posts, of Instagram posts inside later. And then later over the next 30 days, we'll auto post it once a week, once a day, whatever you want. At the same time, if someone posts something on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, blah, 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 you'll get it inside later. It'll all be there. So you can log into later.com and see everything in one place. And it's easier to monitor, track, see what's going on, easier to tell your story. Hootsuite, later, and buffer do that, the same thing, like that, versus like Google Alerts, like I already talked about, you set an alert, it tracks it. What I do a lot of is I set a 12-month marketing calendar. So you map out the 12-month marketing calendar. What is our game plan for the next 12 months? If we do real estate, we know that people don't buy houses in December, people buy houses more in the summer. Or we know this or that. If we're into restaurants, we know that January and February are usually slower. We know that October, November, December are more popular. So we know that there's certain, on the 12-month marketing calendar, we know that there's certain holidays and certain things we're going to highlight. Or there's the wine walk or the restaurant week, or there's different things that are happening over the 12-month calendar. So we map out the 12-month calendar based on local events, national events, holidays, industry-related stuff. Map out the 12-month calendar. Then say, okay, so this month the focus is this. Then we go into Canva, Canva, canva.com. It's free, don't pay. Go into canva.com and design some graphics or little different things, upload some pictures, everything's inside Canva. And then we take the Canva different designs we made for the next 30 days and we put them into later, Hootsuite, buffer, and then it's set. And later, Hootsuite, buffer, if you have like 1 or 2 accounts, it's free. But if you want to, if you pay 10 to 20 bucks a month, then it does more advanced stuff. But the idea is that you're set now for the next 30 days. And then you do that again every month, right? All right, so someone had a question. Canva.com. Yes, that's right, Stephanie. Thanks for putting that in there. I'll put in, there we go. So there's canva.com, there's later.com, and there's buffer.com. All right. And then you're like, but David, I don't have time to say, well, then, you know, you have your employees, or if you don't have employees, then use sites like Fiverr.com or Upwork.com to have people design stuff for you. But the idea is that if you're being proactive and doing things 30 days in advance and mapping things out, then you're maintaining and having a strong reputation. All right. And some of the stuff I'm going to say again in a minute, but I'm just trying to plant seed for you now. All right. So branding and assessing your current online presence. So what happened was, let me see if it has. Yeah. So the key benefit of online marketing and social media and digital marketing, all these things, is we can monitor everything. Like there's so much to monitor. And if we use tools like Later, Hootsuite, or Google Alerts, we can monitor. And there's more fancy things. There's more complex programs out there. So depending on who you are, maybe you use bigger programs that can monitor like everything, you know, but just on a small business level, those platforms work. But we can analyze and track and figure out what changes we want to make. And so what happened was about, oh my gosh, I'll just say 10 years ago. It was longer, but let's say about 10 years ago, I was in San Francisco in the Marina District area and Union Street and stuff. And I would go door to door, and it'd be like going down Pine Street, or I don't know, or there's lots of streets in all these cities, but you know, but basically go door to door. And I'd say, buy my stuff. Basically, I said, well, I can add you on, I can help you grow on social media, help you grow your online presence. And if you have a stronger online presence, you're going to get more customers. And all these people kicked me out. They told me no. And I said, yes. And they're like, no. So then I went back, and it took me about 2 years, but I put together an Excel spreadsheet where I scored all those businesses in that district. And what I did was I scored them from 0 to 100 across these 9 areas. So do they have a website? Yes or no? Oh, they have a website. Does it have videos? Does it have clear call to action? Does it have this? Does it have that? Oh, it does. Okay. Based on that, they get 100, 0 to 100. They get 80 out of 100. Oh, they don't have a website? 0 out of 100. So then I came up with a kind of a FICO credit score, and the average score was an F, of course. It was like 285 or something like that at that time. But the idea is that what happens is by having scoring your business across these 9 key areas, then making adjustments, you can really control your brand, and you can notice if things are going wrong because your score is going down or up or whatever. So what I'm going to just kind of go through some of this. But the idea is that it doesn't matter if you're nonprofit, for-profit, city, small business, big business. Every business has these 9 areas. They're not, I don't necessarily, I made this a long time ago, before Instagram existed, before a lot of stuff existed, and it still maintains, it still works. So it's the idea of these bigger global areas and monitoring them. All right. So let me see if it's in here. Yeah. So basically, I'll go through this more, but basically, these are the 9 areas. I wrote a book called, basically on the 9 key areas of your online presence. I could send anyone that wants a free PDF of the book. It's like 300 pages or something, but it's a pretty good book. Okay, so social media opportunities. Now you have to understand, well, that's great, David. I can claim all those things and post all these things in 30 days in advance, but there's opportunities, there's also problems. So the opportunities are great for member retention. It's great for establishing trust. It can increase referrals, get more testimonials. You can get feedback. You can reach a large audience. You can do market research and survey and see what's going on. That's all great. But at the same exact time, something can happen like that, and it can be a problem. So but with social media, what we want to do is test and see what works. Set up different campaigns. There's at UC Berkeley, sometimes I teach a course called data-driven marketing. And data-driven marketing is all about that when it comes to marketing or the stuff we're talking about, you don't just, well, I'll try it. No, you say, okay, let's try, and and then we'll measure to see if it works. So if you're running ads on Yelp, why are you running ads on Yelp, or running ads on Google or Instagram or Twitter? Why are you doing that? Well, what you want to do is ideally you're getting free calls from Yelp or Google, and they're saying, oh, I found you on Google, I want to hire you. And then they're a good client. Okay, well, that worked. Well, let's start giving some money to Google or Yelp. And then do we get more calls of more people that want to hire us? Yeah. Okay, well, then let's spend even more money. So that makes sense versus We haven't even set up, we haven't even got a single free phone call, and we haven't set up our profiles correctly. And the people that are calling are bad. Well, let's just advertise on there. That doesn't make sense. So you want to track, what was it, 0 to 100 across each category. All right. So test and see what works. When people come into your business or call your business, or they sign up for programs, or they contact you, we'll ask them how they found you. And then I remember, yeah, definitely like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I'd say 8 years ago, if I asked people, they say, "Oh, I found you online." I said, "What'd you Google?" They say, "Well, I'm not going to tell you." Now if you ask them, "What'd you search?" Oh, they're so proud of their search. Like, "Oh, I put in this, then I ended up here. Then that told me here." Then they'll tell you exactly how they got to you. And it's very valuable information. All right. All right. So content. When it comes to reputation management, it also, just in general, to grow your brand, it comes down to content. And if you don't have anything to write about, or you can't think of anything to write about, then guess what? Then whoever writes something else about you is going to show up. What are the things that show up on the first page of Google related to your name or your business or organization? And if you want to change that, you got to write content. You got to create content. So you can write about events. So we have an upcoming event. You're invited. You can tell people, hey, you can download a book or something, or download a packet or a brochure. You can talk about different charity events or things you're doing, or you can talk about hints and tips. So like, let's say you do real estate. People keep calling, "Hey, what's the, should I do this or should I do this? Should I fix a bathroom? Should I fix the kitchen? Should I paint? Should I put new carpet? Should I do this? Should I do that?" People ask all kinds of questions. How long does the process take, or whatever? Well, you know what? That's a great question. I'll answer that question. But also, if I get your email, or if you look at our website, if you go to Google and Google us, you'll see we have an article on the most commonly asked questions, the hints and tips or best practices. But to answer your questions, this. Oh, give me your email. Let me send you the packet of the hints and tips or whatever. All right. So what you want to write about is things that they don't know. Like, most people don't know as much about you as where you work or what you do, what you have access to that they don't. You don't have to be original. I see some people, they really want to try to be original. Well, if you're too original, that means you're educating the entire world. And guess what? People, it's hard. Like, the best examples of this are restaurants. When you come up with a really unique restaurant concept, you have to spend so much time educating people, versus if you just open a restaurant that just serves, breakfast. That's a breakfast place. There's no education involved at all. And on the outside, breakfast place on Yelp, breakfast place on Google, breakfast place. But if you're saying, oh, it's a, these people opened a non-alcoholic bar. So it was a bar that you would go to, and they have cocktails and everything, but there's no alcohol in that entire place, right? That's kind of interesting. But then you have to educate people. Yeah, we're a bar, but there's no alcohol. And it's like, or a super high-end Vietnamese, right? It's like, well, it's not, it's, it's a different style, but I'm not saying not to do that, but it's just a lot of education. So if you're too original or too unique, a lot of education. So like the same thing with startups. When someone's like, I have this brand new idea, you've never heard about it before. Well, then I preferred being second to market. If you're second to market, someone else has already spent all the money educating everybody, All right. Focus on, the like different verticals that people can think about in Google. So like I just gave the examples of restaurants, breakfast, brunch, lunch, that outdoor patio. There's certain categories on Yelp and Google that you pick and people get it. Versus if you're too unique or narrow and you're way over here, it's going to be hard. So like there's this restaurant that does Israeli food. And I said on Yelp, they should just pick Mediterranean as a category, because there is no Israeli category. Yeah, but we're Israeli, we're not Mediterranean. I know, but it's so similar in style and stuff. And if someone likes Mediterranean food, they're going to like your Israeli restaurant. Yeah, but we're not Mediterranean, we're Israeli. I know, but how come Yelp doesn't have a category for Israeli? Because if they did, how many people are going to select that category? Not that many people. So that's where it's like there's probably one for kosher, but still but picking Mediterranean. Or if they said, well, but we could just do fine dining. Yes, you could do fine dining, but by picking Mediterranean, it's pretty darn close. And you're going to get customers are going to be very happy and they're going to want that style of food. Let's see what else. Let's see. Write articles, write content that's that's related to your industry. Have pictures, especially videos and pictures now. If you have pictures and videos, they're good. What happens is if I write something, that's text. But if I add a video, then it shows up in the video tab on Google. I add a picture, it shows up in the picture tab of Google. So if on a web page I have text, video, picture, that means it's going to show up in 3 different tabs on the drop down, on the Google search. And then if I label the video and I label the photo, that's here. If I say this article is about David Mitroff, and David Mitroff is going to be talking about reputation management in Los Angeles or whatever, Oxnard, Ventura County, whatever. Then what happens is I put a picture. Here's a picture of David Mitroff talking about reputation management in Oxnard, Ventura County, or whatever. And then Santa Barbara County. And then you have here's a video. Hi, I'm David Mitroff. I'm going to be talking about reputation management in Oxnard. What happens is they all are labeled and they all have the same kind of text and keywords and key phrases. So your search engine optimization goes through the roof. And on that page, you have the text that says reputation, Santa Barbara County or whatever. Then it has picture, same thing that's labeled like David, or that reputation dash management dash, Ventura dash county. And then you have a video that says it'll be YouTube transcribes it automatically. So, and the labeled plus the transcription plus that page is going to be number 1 on Google. That's just what happens. If you write a paragraph and you say blah, 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 and then you have a video where you say blah, 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 literally you take a piece of paper and you just read, more people will watch the video and more people tell you, oh, I know what they do, because people just don't read as much. They just watch the video. Video also you'll get more traffic to your website with video. And video is a good way to control your brand and to tell your story. When it does come to content, by the way, I'm giving a lot of information fast with the idea that if you just do one of these things, it's going to make a difference. And I will, excuse me, get into, let me get some water. I will get into, how to respond to people that say things that you don't like. If people have questions about specific things, I can answer them. But what I like to do is I like to write down exercises, like write down the 3 things that that they don't know, or write down 3 things you have access to that they don't know, or write down the top 3 questions that you keep getting asked over and over and over and over. And if you write articles on your website, or you add content to your website, or do little videos on those things, or post on social media about those things. Oh, thanks, John. Then if you post or write about those things, then you're going to get more phone calls about those things, or you're not going to have to respond to those things over and over and over. Because if people keep asking the same question over and over and over, you might as well put it on your website. Here's a very common question. Here's the answer. Then you'll get less calls. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Repurpose and reuse. Yeah, so again, same thing. About, I'd say definitely 10, 12 years ago, I used to go and I would speak. I'd still speak, but I'd speak at a big event. I'd say, okay, say the same thing on every platform. Say it in your email newsletter, on your Facebook, on your website, on this, on that, on Twitter, on that. Literally say the same thing in a press release. Say the same thing everywhere. And people would raise their hand. David, isn't that annoying and rude? I go, no, because no one reads any of it. They're like, but I do. And so, but I do. And I don't like when people say the same thing on all the platforms, because it's like, they're just like, I already saw it in your email newsletter. Why are you saying it over here? No, I said, no one reads it. Oh, I do. That was like 10, 12 years ago. Now, I mean, the last 5 years or so, I just say the same thing everywhere because no one reads it. Everyone goes, that's true. No one reads it. Well, then why are we doing it? Because people do get bored eventually. They go on LinkedIn looking for another job, or they're on Facebook looking to get divorced, or they're on Instagram just because they want to they want people to like them. And then in between, all of a sudden they get distracted and then they go, oh, they see your thing. And then they get an email newsletter from you, which they don't open, but they see who it's from in the subject line. And the subject line is most important and who it's from. From David Mitroff, you are invited, or whatever. They go, oh, so, oh, he's inviting me to something. Oh, Facebook, he's inviting me. LinkedIn, he's inviting me. Oh, he's inviting me. Oh, he's inviting me. Oh, David's inviting me a lot of stuff. That's so nice of him. I feel good about David because he keeps inviting me, not selling me, So it's just saying the same thing over and over. That's why you make the 12-month marketing calendar and you map out the themes for the months. And then guess what happens next year? It's just like your quarterly, annual review when you're an employee. I'm not an employee anymore, but well, technically I'm an employee of my own company, but whatever. But you do the annual report, annual review with your boss. You sit down, they say, what would you like to work on this year? What did you do well last year? And how could you improve? Okay, that kind of thing. After you've been at a company for basically a year, 2 at the most, you just copy and paste the same exact thing you had from the year before. Okay. So guess what you do with marketing? Same thing. So because tell me this, you have November is your email newsletter and your social media content. Everything in November is that you're thankful. Is there anyone that's not thankful in November? In December, everything in December is happy holidays. And everything in January is I'm excited about the new year. It's not like I'm not excited about the new year. I'm excited about the new year. Well, who is not? Even if there was the world ended and you had your newsletter set to go out for the next 10 years, and you had, I'm thankful for November, I'm happy holidays in December, I'm excited about the new year. That's 3 out of 12 months. It's already done. It just goes. And no one ever says, David, you were thankful last November. David, you wished me happy new year last New Year's. No, you know what they respond back? Thank you so much. I wish you the best also. My November newsletter is the #1 most popular newsletter every year. And literally it's, I'm thankful. And then I put a picture of me and I say, I'm really thankful that we're a connection. Click send. If you put a whole bunch of other stuff in there, nobody reads it. I do a whole thing on in email newsletters in particular, where I put a picture of me holding a fish and a sushi knife. And I say, go to LinkedIn and endorse me as a sushi chef. And I sent to like 30,000 people. 5 people will go to LinkedIn and endorse me as a sushi chef. But if I put in the subject line, you are invited to a tequila tasting or something, I'll see that maybe 20% of people open it. However, people will text me or email me or different things like that. Oh, I saw you did a tequila tasting recently. That's so cool. And I looked, they didn't open the email. They didn't open it, but they saw the subject line. So from the subject line, they're going, oh, David's doing this, David's doing that. Oh, okay, cool. And then you put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, and then they see it so many times. Eventually they start going, oh, I guess David likes tequila. I actually like mezcal more now. That's smoky. And I also like the smoky old fashioned from like the High West Campfire or Brooklotti, but it's called Brooklotti Octomore, the real smoky with a lot of peat. I'm not sure what other, they don't really have, I don't think they have wine that's smoky, but if they did, I'd probably like that too. But you have the whiskey that's smoky and the mezcal that's smoky. Yeah, that's good. All right. So, but maybe some of these people that are the farmers and stuff can make me, tell me about smoky coffee or smoky wine or something. All right. So press releases. So how to write a press release. Yeah, believe it or not, we write a lot of press releases and people always, how do I write a press release? Yeah. So how to write a press release, you want to grab attention with a good headline. Yeah. Your headline should basically say what it is. Now there's 2 kinds of ideas. There's what's called like evergreen, which means that it doesn't get old. It's just, it's a statement and it's something that's going to stay for a long time. And then there's kind of more like this week is a big party, or next week or last week there was a big party, you see, versus the evergreen is more of like, the 5 ways to grow your business. Well, 100 years from now, it's still, those 5 things probably still relevant, depending on what they are. So grab attention with a good headline. Get right to the point with the first paragraph. Yeah, the first sentence or two's got to say exactly what it is, and what's going on. Include numbers or facts. There was a 56% increase. Like Tracy did a really good job in her introduction because she said, since 2013, we've given 63% to minority and women owned. Since we've helped we've did over 20 million and blah 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 blah. And people like that stuff. Okay, what she didn't do, which I don't know, you could do an intro next time, is she didn't quote, one of our customers recently said, David's amazing. It's like, oh, wow, there's a person said that. Yeah. So, but you include quotes and you include numbers, and that makes it more of a press release. Okay. Include your contact information, obviously. And one page usually is pretty good. So now when you do a press release, you're like, but what do we do one on, David? If you're a restaurant, you can do it on a new menu. If you're a city government, you can do it on like a new project the city's doing, or you could do something. We're excited to partner with this association, or there's a new hotel opening in town, or it's pretty easy to come up with an excuse for a press release. Okay. All right. And press releases are pretty powerful. They're not as powerful as they used to be. We used to be able to, I'd say 7 years ago, and definitely before, we used to, if there was something on the first page of Google that I didn't like so much, I could just do a whole bunch of press releases and it would start pushing it down. Now that doesn't work as much, but press releases do work and they do get a lot of weight, especially if you send it out and then, abc.com picks it up and they put it on their website and they link to you. It's going to get some really good authority and it's going to move some other stuff down. So again, getting attention, use the press release as a sales tool. Have a newsworthy story. If I was a reporter or if I was a person, would I like this? Does it make sense? Write like a reporter. So go look at how reporters write, provide some good quotes. I'll quote my clients, or I'll quote myself, or I'll quote different people, not myself in my own, but just quote someone that works at a company, and it helps because it also, you can put their name. So now it's boosting up their name, one of your employees or one of your clients. If you're a city stuff, then quote one of the government officials or quote one of the business owners. And now you're boosting that business too. And then just when you send out the press release, you can also send it out to people you already know. You can also go and look in the local newspapers and find someone that wrote an article, or not article, but recently find someone that wrote something in the newspaper on a similar topic. They always have their name or their emails at the bottom, and you email them, hey, here's a press release we just did. You might find this interesting. And now you're educating the people in your city, in your space, that write about things, and they might want to write about it. All right. So any questions about anything so far? Okay. So review sites. Is your business currently listed on all these different review sites? Yelp and, it depends on your industry, but are you on review sites? So healthcare is going to be, for medical, there's over 60 sites. So there's like Healthy Grades, Vitals, Rate My Doctor, there's over 60 of them. For travel, there's it's probably 25. There's, Travelocity, TripAdvisor, all those types of sites. Are you on? Every industry has unique ones, and there's more general ones. Yelp and Google reviews are the biggest, but then there's all these other ones. If you're not listed, get your listing for free. All you do is go to Google, just say, get business on Google, or go to Yelp, get my business on Yelp, and it will pop up and it will walk you through how to do it. All right. So reviews. So when it comes to reviews, so the difference between basically on Yelp in particular, difference between a 3.5 and a 4 is monstrous, because a 4 and a 5-star on Yelp are color coded one color. 3.5 and lower is coded another color. So 3 and lower. So you need a 4 or 5. Makes a big difference. You'll see a huge increase in how many customers you have. And so Yelp and then Google and all these platforms are really important. You cannot pay to have things added or removed. It's not a scam. I work with these people all the time. And if you want me to do an audit of your Yelp, or if you're doing ads on Yelp and you want to be more efficient, I work with Yelp enough where I can have them do a free audit and they can give recommendations on to what else to do to improve your Yelp. But when it comes to Yelp, there's some key things. You know what? Let me look here. Let me see if I have. Let me look. All right, so let me pull up a Yelp before I do this. So give me 1 second and find a Yelp for you guys. Yelp. Does anyone have a business they want me to? I'll put in Ox Nerd. I'll put in donuts. Give me 1 second. I'll share screen. All right. So stop sharing. Share. This. All right. So so unless someone else has something else, I'll put in donuts because who doesn't like donuts? Okay. Oh, someone had something. What do you recommend for real estate? How do we get there? Yelp and other sites. I would like a copy of your book, please. Yeah. So just email me. My email's on the bottom of every slide. Email me, say you want a PDF copy of my book, and I'll send it to you. But real estate, you want Zillow, Nextdoor, all those different sites that are related to real estate industry, but Yelp by far too, because real estate, as a real estate agent, real estate broker, you can have a free Yelp. All right. So what happens is on Yelp, these are ads. So this is an ad, this is an ad. Okay, right here, these are free. So Masters Donuts, Spud Nuts. Wow. Okay. Rolling Pin Donuts, Oxford Donut. All right. So let's pick, well, that one had a lot. Let's see. Let's pick this one here. Heavenly Cakes and More. So Heavenly Cakes and More. So their listing is claimed. Okay. It's free, And then if I click here, it says that this here was posted by Julie H. And it says tiramisu cake. Looks very cool. But let's keep going. Dolores, gorgeous cakes. No. Give me 1 second. Dolores, Tristan. No, not what I'm looking for. So let me go back. I'll pick another person because I want to show you. All right, fine. We'll pick this one. Okay, they have donuts, but they obviously have sandwiches too, and burritos, and all kinds of stuff. All right, so let's see. What we want is, which I do not see. Nope. Yeah, so no one's doing, wow, I'm getting hungry now. All right, so no one's doing what I'm saying. That's all right. So basically what you want is you want to, as the owner of the business, you can add photos for free and you can label the photos. Do you see right here? It says size of burrito number 2 with salsa on the side. Thanks, Jay. That's helpful. But what we want, old-fashioned donuts. Thanks, Mike. But what we want is, we actually really want is old-fashioned donuts, Oxnard. So if I was the owner, but we can't tell Mike, hey, Mike. So as the owner, what I upload a photo of my business, the outside, upload a photo of the business, the inside, upload a photo of some of the different donuts. And I say, one of the best donuts in Oxnard. So if someone Googles best donuts in Oxnard, show up. I upload old-fashioned, maple bar, donuts, but bakery Oxnard, inside of the bakery in Oxnard. Okay, so labeling the photos makes a difference. Number 1. Number 2, thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, number 2 is categories. You're allowed 3 categories: bakeries, donuts, bagels. So if you only have 1 category, no, add 2 more for free. Depends who you are. Now, as a real estate agent, you can have real estate. Okay, open 24 hours. Okay. If you are a retail location or city government place, then have your hours. Like we are actually open from this time to this time. However, if you are a service provider, like a chiropractor or a life coach or financial advisor, well, then make your hours longer, because people will call you. Basically, if you put 9 to 4, you're going to show up as closed on Yelp, closed on Google, and if I do a search, it's going to say you're closed, and I'm not going to call you. versus, but if someone called you at 5 o'clock, you might pick up, or if nothing else, leave a voicemail. So put longer hours if you're a service provider. It makes it, you'll get more phone calls. Oh, but David, I only want to work Tuesday, Thursdays. I don't want to work Saturdays. But by putting it there, you have the choice of answering or not answering. And if you do answer and they say, well, can I come in on Saturday? Say, oh, we're already booked on Saturdays. How about Thursday, the day you want to work? Okay. Then you come down here. Oh boy. So down here, there's 3 sections. There's specialties, history, and meet the owner. These are not filled out correctly. This is pretty sad. You need to fill, you need to, like this section, all these sections can be about 10 times bigger for free. And so you need to put under specialties. When it comes to donuts in Oxnard, look no further than, what's this place called in? Master's Donuts. Master's Donuts takes pride in being producing some of the best donuts in the Oxnard area. So whether you're in Oxnard, this city, this city, this city, this city, and you want some donuts, come to our place. We also have muffins, bagels, croissants, coffee, cappuccinos, blended drinks, boba, breakfast and lunch fare, and a cooler stocked with your beverages needs. Like I said. So again, whether it's, and then list some of the different types of stuff. Then history. We've been serving Oxnard for 30 years. We've been serving Oxnard with some of the best catering, bakery, donuts, blah, 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 blah needs for over 30 years. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff you want to say. All right. Hello, my name is Michelle. My donut shop has been serving Oxnard for 30. Again, you need to say, you know, this county, this thing, that thing. And by saying it's all searchable. So if I go up to the very top and I put right here, I put, what was one of the things they put? Let me scroll back down. Something like, well, here you can do it in reviews too. So these donuts are here. Okay. Ours can't explain. Strawberries. You must get strawberries and donuts. Okay. So if I put strawberries and donuts, and I do that in the search up here, strawberries and donuts, go like that. Believe it or not, that's an ad, not an ad. That's okay. Here's the real results. So you start going down, and it's making. I could change this to Oxnard. Oxnard. Whoops. Oxnard, California. And then there's an ad. Okay, and add it out. Okay, here they go. So then, come on. Here, I'll just put strawberries. That way we'll see what happens. But you have to believe me, it does work. So what happens is, so by putting it's either strawberries, it's funny, but we need donuts. So there's a lot of strawberries. Strawberry, pick your own strawberry stuff. But anyways, basically it makes you show up, okay? All right. So then, and it works. And you want to do that on Google, on your website, you want keywords, key phrases, because you're controlling your brand. It's search engine optimization, and you're going to show up. And so you're protecting your brand. And then reputation on the other side is, you know, if something bad happens. Now let's see. Well, there's 4 things here. Oh, someone just said, David, it's number 3 on the list. It was right there. You just skipped it. And someone else, number 3 on the list, David. It showed up. It worked. Okay. All right, fine. I got too excited. I ignored it. All right. So yes, strawberry and donuts did show up. Okay. All right. So then you come down here. Yeah. So you want that. But see, strawberry, they don't want to, I mean, I guess they want to show up for strawberry and donuts, but wouldn't they want to show up for something else? Okay. All right. So anyway, so for free, everything I just said, you can totally do. Okay. Now, if you don't have, oh, you're very welcome, Alan. So if you don't have a location, like a physical location, you can have a Google and Yelp listing for free. Instead of the address, you put kind of the city and check the box so you don't want to say what address, and they'll say, okay, no problem. All right. Okay. So we covered that. So now I'm going to stop sharing. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to this. Now that we did that, and we have a free Yelp listing. Now that we have a free Yelp listing, now is where if someone writes reviews, we can respond to it because we've claimed it. The other thing is if we have a free listing, we've set it all up in nice pictures and nice stuff, we're probably going to get less bad reviews because there's going to be less confusion, because it's going to be like, here's our menu, here's the pictures, here's what we do. It's less, and it's easier. Okay. So there's always negative reviews, not always, but there's negative reviews, and sometimes what can you do about it? All right. So come in and try the worst meatball that some guy said on Yelp he had ever had in his life. All right. So because you claim your listing for free, you can respond. This is one of like a pizza place I worked with years ago. It was like, this is the best pizza in the entire world. And then the one in the bottom is, my son broke his record. He ate 4 slices. It's the best pizza in the world. And the one in the middle is like, tastes like cardboard. It's like, so this guy, Brian, that said tastes like cardboard. If you look at, he's written some, it's just probably if somebody's like, they look and go, yeah, I identify with Brian, they're probably not going to be a good fit for go to your restaurant. So don't worry about it. This is like, you can't make everyone happy. It depends on the industry, but food in particular, whatever. So it's hard not to take it personal, but then this knitting store I worked with years ago as well. So 12 years ago, amazing. Yeah, this knitting store, they were like, oh, this place is so uncomfortable. And no joke, 2 years later, they hired me. I said, oh, well, let's go back and fix these things. So we did add it, made more comfortable, did these different things. And we wrote, hey, since this review, we've made improvements. I know it's 2 years later, but guess what? People do look at these reviews. And if they look at it and they say, hey, we responded to it and we made changes, it's like, hey, it's been 2 years. We made changes. Come in and check us out. We're not necessarily writing to that person. We're saying it to everybody. And we don't say, if they say, you're a horrible person, we don't write, you're a horrible person. See, we didn't even address that person at all. All we're saying is since this review, not since your review. Hey, Maureen, since you said we were horrible. No, it's like, since this review, we've made a lot of changes. We hope that you come in and try us out. We're not talking to her. We're talking to you, the people. All right. Same thing. Someone writes a review that we like. We emphasize that's a great review. We agree with that review. You see, so we're reinforcing good ones, and negative ones we're saying we made changes unless we didn't. And just, so responding to issues. Okay. Responding to issues. So this is this the military one? Yeah, this is so there's I've worked with the Catholic Church, I've worked with them and some other organizations, and they have response charts. And so, depending on your organization, you may or may not have a response chart. But most important thing is just time. Time is important. You don't need to respond like 2 seconds. It's time and taking time to respond back appropriately. So there's someone post. Did what they post, is it true or not true? Right? Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So, okay. And it's fine. It's true, but it's something we can work on. Okay. Let's respond to that. No, it's not true. They're just they're misinformed or whatever. How to respond to that. And you'll get a copy of this presentation. You can look at the slides, but and then if it's true or not true, do we monitor it and make changes and make things and then go back and report back? There's a whole flow. So basically it's about being transparent, making sure that if you say, oh, we made changes, cite where the sources, where you got, again, don't rush it. My experience is that it's, if you respond instantly, then it's probably an emotional response. So it's better to have someone else, like you write a response, have someone else double check it, that kind of stuff. What's the tone? And how does it, who is the person that's sending it? Is it, what level of person needs to be responsible for sending this? And again, I try not to say you. So if someone writes, you did this, I don't write about, well, you did this. I try to turn it around and use it in the frame of we. We've been working on this, we've made changes, or we appreciate your feedback and we recommend this, or I try not to go into you, and then they go back and forth. Or don't send a private message via Yelp saying, well, you're an idiot, and then what happens is they then go back and forth and it's just a big mess. All right. So, it's just, I try to keep everything out in the open. All right. This is another one. Is it positive or neutral? Is it negative? Does it violate? Now on Yelp, if you've claimed your listing for free and someone writes something like that vulgar or violates whatever, you can check the flag that it did, and then Yelp will automatically delete that review. Okay, that's just the way it goes. So again, it's very similar, but again, you'll get a copy of this and you can go through and figure out how you want to respond to things. But again, most of my experience is that like 85% of Yelp and Google reviews and the reviews on TripAdvisor in general are 85% are 4 or 5 star. Okay. So there's not that many negative, and sometimes when they're negative, it's like, well, again, easy ones, easy examples are the food's too salty, the food's too salty, the food's too salty, the food's too salty. And I go to the chef, hey chef, 10 people said that this particular entree is too salty. Chef goes, well, I don't think it's too salty. Okay, well, 10 people said they think it is. Well, I don't think it's too salty. It's like, well, okay, why don't we change it so there's less salt and then we can provide extra salt on the side or something? Then we don't have that we're not going to get that bad review anymore. You see? Yeah, but I know, so it depends. Okay. All right. Again, be positive, respond with a friendly, upbeat attitude, be transparent, be honest, be timely. You don't want to take forever, but you don't want to respond instantly. A lot of these things, it's like, be helpful, provide information, resources, say you can follow up or you can follow up with them and try to help. But you also have to understand some people are just crazy. And they just want to complain about everything. So it's sometimes I just go, okay, it's easier to just leave that one alone. Depends what it is. All right. So next steps. So come up with a plan to monitor and control your brand. Are you currently doing Google searches of your name, of your organization? Do you have any setup alerts, free alerts, right? Who responds to reviews? How to respond to reviews? Do you positive or negative? Do you have someone that's dedicated to respond to these things or look at these things? Next 30 days, make some adjustments, work on increasing your brand. Look at the 9 key areas of your online presence. I can send you a PDF from my book. You can schedule a free call with me or other advisors. You can attend other workshops that we have over the next 60 days. Again, you can talk through the EDC. You can talk to, this slide has San Francisco on this one, but through the EDC, you can, my edccollaborative.com, David at smallbizla.org is my email for LA area. And you can schedule a free call by going to edccollaborative.com if you're not a client. If you're a client, there's a link in the chat they'll probably put that you can use to schedule a call with me. All right, so let's see. People have questions. Yeah, there it is. Sign up for no cost consulting. So there's paid experts like me that will talk to you for free if you go do homework. If you don't do homework, I can't talk to you again. So what we do is we talk, we come up with a thing. Okay, go do this. Say, okay, and then you go and you try to come up, do some stuff. The EDC, the SBDCs, the small business development centers are designed to grow businesses. So start businesses, create jobs, retain jobs, increase sales, increase funding, help people get more revenue, help people get loans to then grow their business. So the way it works is you have the federal government, which is the SBA, the Small Business Administration. And the SBA gives money to every single state, and every single state gives money to every single county. Every single county gives every single, so it's like, and so there's the SBDCs, the Small Business Development Centers, and every single county in the United States has one. So it doesn't matter if you're in Santa Barbara County or Ventura County, or you're in wherever, there are SBDCs, Los Angeles, there's SBDC in every single county. And for free, they can provide you with workshops like this or one-on-one counseling or training or advising. It just depends on your industry and what you're looking for. So let's see what we got here. And so if you are not a client, you can use the Calendly link that's in the chat and schedule a free call with the EDC intake person. If you are a client already, you can go to the BC link and you can schedule a call with me. Okay. All right. And if you're not sure, just call and then they'll look you up. All right. So John asked, which website platform do you recommend for best SEO? Wix, Shopify, Squarespace? Okay. So it depends on what industry you're in, what you're trying to do, how complicated you want to be. So when it comes to search engine optimization or SEO, search engine optimization or SEO is how your website ranks in Google. So does it show up or not? And so when it comes to a website, you need to have a website. No website, no business. No website, no business. So you have to have at least a one-page website. Because you're like, but I have a LinkedIn, I have a Facebook, I'm working on it. No website, no business. So you need at least a one-page website. So there's Wix, Wix.com. There's Squarespace, and there's WordPress. So WordPress, Squarespace, and Wix. Those three are pretty easy. I would say Squarespace and Wix are the easiest. Literally, like you can make one after this call. 15 minutes from now, 30 minutes at the most, you'll have a one-page website. You put your picture or picture of business, put a paragraph says, I'm David Mitroff, this is what I do, this is what I do. Here's my phone number, call me. Picture, paragraph, call me with a number. That is a one-page website. That's fine, it's good, it's live on Squarespace or Wix for free. It'll have ads. If you pay like 12 bucks a month, there'll be no ads. And then you can also get Gmail for business. You can also get a domain name. So it's davidmitroff.com and all that. And then maybe it's 15, 16, $20 a month, something like that. Whether it's Wix or Squarespace. WordPress is a little more complex and works really well. And WordPress, you can make more and more and more pages, and it's even better for search engine optimization. Now, if you want to do e-commerce, like, selling, makeup and clothes or coffee or whatever, then you start looking at sites maybe like Shopify or like WooCommerce for WordPress. But if you look at sites like Shopify is set up really, really well for being a storefront, but it's not so good for search engine optimization. However, it's really amazing for storefront, and I use it a lot, and I have clients that use it a lot. But Shopify is like you're driving people to that page to buy stuff, and it's really well set up. And maybe you run Instagram ads and Facebook ads and Google ads, or maybe you have a brand and people know it. But it's just not going to rank as well as like a WordPress site for lots of reasons. But in general, though, search engine optimization or SEO is not just about just the website. You want your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, on all those. If you're in the medical field, all those 60 sites for medical people need to point to your website. And then you make videos, you make pictures, you label the pictures, you label the, and then on Yelp, how we talk about the keywords and key phrases, and then having all those pictures, and then do the same thing on Google listing, and all those things point back to your website. And now all that stuff is going to your website. That's search engine optimization. And now that you're getting a whole bunch of search engine optimization to that website, so that means like you're getting 1,000 people a day or something. Great. Okay. Then it moves to conversion rate optimization, or CRO, conversion rate. Conversion rate is, that's great, you're getting a lot of people to your website, but they're not doing anything. Why aren't they doing anything? Because you haven't told them what to do. Your phone number is not on every single page on your website. No, it's only on the contact page. And you know what's on contact? A form. No, it's like what if someone fills out a form, are you really going to get back to them? I don't think so. So it's, there's call us right now. There's book an appointment with Calendly or one of those type of platform. Then there's email us. Then there's fill out a form. And it's so low down. And then there's sign for a newsletter. So what you want to do is you want to schedule a call. Call us right now at this number and put that on every page in text, or book a call right now. So if you have that on every page, you're going to get more conversions. Or give us your email to get a copy of our ebook. Okay, fine. But really just call us or book an appointment or do whatever you want, make a reservation, whatever you want people to do, you need to tell them what to do. That's conversion rate optimization. So Martin asked about for SEO for real estate. So for real estate, it's about being on Zillow, being on Nextdoor, being on Yelp, being on Google, being on this, being on that, and pointing back to your website. Again, your website could be on Wix, Squarespace, WordPress. It's fine, but they're all good. But it depends on how tech savvy you are and what you're doing. But you have to if you do not say on your website right now, we are a donut shop in Oxnard, and we specialize in this kind of donut and that kind of donut, then why would you ever show up? Because I go to Google and I put in donut shops Oxnard, and you don't actually say we are a donut shop in Oxnard on your website. Why would you show up? So you actually have to tell people right now. I guarantee 75% of you, if I pull up your website, I look at it on the home page, even on any page, but definitely on the first page, it doesn't actually say the city or product that you sell or the service you provide. It doesn't say we are blah, 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 and we provide this service in this city. Most of the time it doesn't. And then on top, is there a photo that's a picture of that and it's labeled? Or is there a video of you saying that you provide that same service or same product or some whatever in that city? Usually not. So if you have a paragraph that says it, a picture that looks like it that's labeled that way, and a video that says it, now we're getting somewhere. But most people are like, we provide the best level of service when it comes to roofing and your roofing needs. If you're looking for a roofer, let us know. Go to our contact page, fill out a form that we'll never respond to. Versus Are you looking for a roofing company in Oxnard? Look no further than us. We've been a roofing company in Oxnard for over 30 years. We specialize in this kind of roofing, this kind of roofing, this kind of roofing, whether it's for a homeowners association, a commercial building, or residential property. Look no further than Jimmy's Roofing for your Oxnard roofing needs. Now, if you're in this city or this city, that's, we also can work in those cities too. So feel free to give us a call today at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or book an appointment right now for us to give you a consultation to talk about your needs. That will get more calls, get more conversion. All right, so let me close that. All right, any questions from anyone about anything? I think I covered, answered all the questions. John, you're welcome. Okay, anyone else have any questions about the meaning of life or anything else? Because I can answer any questions you want about anything. Doesn't have to be about this, it can be about anything. How to make money, how if you're government, how to get more people to come to events. I can talk about anything. How to get more people to volunteer.
I guess we use the time efficiently.
Yes, I try to be very efficient. Okay, John asked, any insight on Eventbrite? Yes, of course. So Eventbrite is free, Brite, it's totally free. And what you do is on Eventbrite, when you make an event, you need to think about the title of the event. If the title's customer loyalty program, well, that's nice, but customer loyalty program in Oxnard, even though it's virtual, it doesn't matter. So think about the title or for law firms or something. Then in the description, if you're looking to grow your law firm, blah, 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 and then you say, we at this company, ABC, have lots of experience in da, da, da. So if you're in Oxnard or other area, blah, blah, because all that stuff's fully searchable. And on event pages, if you put, I do a lot of Eventbrite and meetup stuff, and I actually wrote a book called The Event Effect. And I can send that to you, John, if you email me. I'll send you a free PDF copy of that book. All my books are on Amazon, but I can send you. It's called The Event Effect. And the event effect, I can tell you exactly what it means, but the idea is on Meetup, which I've run like 30 groups on there. Meetup, if you write 500 words or more, you will get 50% more people register for your event. The reason you'll get 50% more people registering is because people go, oh, this person actually took the time to write a lot of description, what this is about, versus we're doing an event on this, see you there. It's like, do these people really know what they're doing? Versus if you write a paragraph and say, this is who we are, this is what we're doing, then you move into, these are the people that would benefit by going. You're describing your customers. Here's what you're going to learn. You're describing what your customers need. And all that stuff is fully searchable in Google, okay? And then when you do on Eventbrite, when you do registration, you want to collect information. So don't go with the default for, it's all free, but if you charge, they take money, whatever. Don't go over the default that just says first name, email. No, add job title, website, things, add more stuff. So now you're collecting information. So now you can connect to these people better. That's part of why you do events, because most people that register don't show up. So what you need to do is, collect information. That's one. Number two, you can make in Canva, make the header that's pretty and stuff like that. So, but that's design content of Eventbrite, collecting information of Eventbrite. Okay. The other thing is to understand for an event like this, a webinar, if it's free and you have 100 people registered, 100 people register for a webinar, you will get 25 out of 100. Unless, a really famous person's there, maybe you get more. Or you send an email 1 hour before. Eventbrite, Meetup, they send emails. But if David, send you an email 1 hour before, and I say, hey, John, I look forward to seeing you in an hour. Here's a link. It's going to be awesome. We have a lot of people registered. Look forward to seeing you. 1 hour before. If I send that, instead of 25 out of 100 showing up, I'll get 50 out of 100 showing. That's my experience. And I've done a lot of online events, a lot. And that email that goes sent out 1 hour before increases how many people show up by a lot. So it's worth doing it. So my employees do it. I have my employees send it out. Every single event we do. If it didn't work, I wouldn't have my employees do that. All right. So let's see. So that's how to go from a 25% to a 50%. The other thing is that you have to understand events like this, I'm glad you people are here. But it doesn't, whether you show up or not, what matters is we use this to promote the EDC. We use this to promote SBDC. We use this to put it on our social media. Use this to put in our email newsletter. We use this to invite people to things. People like that. They're inviting. You know how many people see this and don't register? And do you know how many people do register and don't show and then still become a client of EDC and SBDC for free and get free advice from us, and we help them for free? It's like, I don't know why you wouldn't want free, and it's really good advice. So what happens is people end up becoming clients without ever going to the workshop because they see it, versus want to buy our stuff, even in our case, want free stuff. People get annoyed, versus you are invited. If you say you are invited, it pisses people off, but you are invited. The event effect is that every January, I just did a TED talk on Saturday at Purdue in Indiana. I flew there. That's my second TED talk. So in my TED talk, I actually told this story about my grandmother. So my grandmother, every January in Sacramento, she would host a huge party at her house every January, invite every single person she knew, everyone. Some people she didn't like that much. She invite everyone she knew to her house in January, huge party, and they'd all leave. After they left, my grandmother would say to me, "David, I'm so happy." And I'd always be like, "Well, Grandma, is that because everybody left?" And she's like, "No, because it's only January, and every single person I know, whether they came to this party or not, they owe me something for the rest of the year." And she'd be proceed to get invited to every single event for the rest of the year and do nothing. And all her friends say, "Oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. You know, get invited to everything." No, it had nothing to do with luck. She just did a huge party every January, invite everybody. And there's this psychological principle where when you invite people and you do, people feel obligated. They feel like, well, maybe I need to return the favor. Maybe I should. And so that's what I made up. I called it the event effect. And so I wrote a book called The Event Effect, how to leverage events to grow brands, and how to use that psychological principle and how to do what my grandmother did, and how to use Eventbrite and Meetup and how to do events and how to promote events the right way and how to use those to grow brands. Okay. So anyway, your grandmother was a marketing genius. Yes. My grandmother never went to school. I think she went to high school. That's it. And she never worked ever. Okay. All right. So let's see. Any questions from anyone? Anyone?
We have a couple of questions in the Q&A section. It looks like Martin is asking what you charge for your services, but if you sign up for the EDC SBDC to work with David, then you can access all of his information and advice at no cost.
Yes. So just, I don't know why you would want to pay me if you could. I mean, you could, but well, you get me for free. All right. And then let's see. Alan said, any recommendations, software strategies, email. Okay. So, oh, I see what you're saying. Discounts, that's a little tough, but email marketing, there's MailChimp, Constant Contact, Robly, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Robly. Those three platforms, they're all very good. MailChimp, if you have no emails, it's free. And well, of course, they're all free if you have no emails, but under 2,000 emails or less, it's free. But then once you get around 2,000 emails, all the platforms, Robly, Constant Contact, MailChimp, they're around $40 to $70 a month. It depends on what you're doing. Okay, so then when are you publishing startup business growth strategies? Oh, you're looking at my website, huh? Okay, so I actually have during 2020, during 2020, I came up with a strategy that I was going to publish a book a month. That was my strategy. So I actually published 2 during 2020, but I got another 6 over there. And like one of them, I'd say one of them, no joke, is how to start and grow a consulting firm. It's huge. That one is only 5 hours from being done. Now, why do I know it's 5 hours from being done? Because I was on an airplane, and on that airplane ride, I couldn't go anywhere. And I was so laser focused for 5 hours on that, finishing that book on how to grow the consulting firm book, how to start and grow a consulting firm book. I read, it's done. And all these edits, I'm going to go and make those edits. This book is done. And then I edited it, got off the plane, left what I did on the plane. So I know that I have to do it all over again. And it's going to be even better this time. but I got to set aside 5 hours, lock myself somewhere and just do 5 hours and that book will be done. And then I have the startup one that you're talking about. That one is actually pretty close to done. Because I used it when I did work for the Korean government. I spoke at some big events and I helped them do some accelerator things. They gave out like, it was something like, 1 billion, like 2 million gazillion, whatever. It was something like the first, I was a judge and stuff too. I think first prize was $250,000 US dollars, or maybe it was 500,000 US dollars. It was a lot. And second prize. And so for them, I actually put together this whole thing. So that one's almost done. And I haven't, but if you look at my website, yeah, the cover's nice, everything's nice. It's just, but yeah, my strategy was a book a month. So I think I ended up with 2 published on Amazon and I got 7 more that are close. But yes, but then things happen. Like last month, my entire month was Purdue University called me on Purdue University on 119, email me, David, we decided that we want you to come do a TED talk on one of these topics like this on 219. They emailed me on 119 and asked me to do a TED talk on 219. My last TED talk, I had like 6 months. And I had like last TED talk, I applied. And then they wrote back, yeah, that makes sense. And then they go, 6 months from now, you'll do it. This one, Purdue, they invited me. And then they said, we like what you talk about. Could you talk something about this? And I was like, oh, okay. Versus the first TED talk was like, my kind of my life story a little bit. And versus this TED talk, I had to talk about my grandmother. It's like I already talked about myself in the last one. So let's see. John said, if you have time, many businesses that start a social media from scratch express that they have trouble getting followers. Business does not have a budget for ads. What's your approach? Yeah, so at the end of the day, when it comes to business, you need the trifecta, which is going to be website, Google, Yelp. Website, Google, Yelp. I don't care who you are. It's very rare. Like, I think it's only happened to me maybe once, maybe once a year. Someone tells me a business, I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. You don't need a Yelp, Google, or website. It's like, and I can't even honestly remember what that. There was one, it stunned me. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. But no, but everybody else needs a Yelp, a Google, and a website. If you don't have a Yelp, Google, or website, then don't talk to me about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or your mother. It's like, it's got to be website, Google, Yelp. Once you got website, Google, Yelp, then you have to do what I just said. You have to go in there for free and fix all those things. Then if you do all that, now you're going to rank really, really well. Because then you're like, oh, but David, I'm going to run an ad on Facebook and I'm going to be so rich. No, you're not. But if I get 1% of all the people in the world, no, it's not going to happen. What are you talking about? So you got to do the website, the Google, Yelp first. And if you have all that really tight, you got all that really good, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to add pictures to your website. You're going to add videos to your website. You got those pictures to Google, pictures to Yelp. You can add the videos to Google too. And if you add those, now guess what? That's your YouTube channel. And those pictures go on your Twitter, and your pictures go on the Instagram. And guess what? They're the same pictures on your website, and they all point to each other, and they have the keywords, key phrases. So far, I don't care about followers. All I care about is I'm saying the same thing everywhere, and it's consistent. Okay. Then what happens is, now that I'm saying the same thing everywhere, start getting consistent. I'm starting to get traffic. I'm starting to build an email list. Then I'm starting to build momentum. And then I have my 12-month marketing calendar, and I'm pick out the theme for this month, the theme for this month, the theme for that. Now what happens as I start doing that stuff, then I'm going to start building momentum. Now you can, which I've written if you want, I have a 15-page guide. That's another book that I have a guide right now, but it's also a book. But the guide is a 15-page guide, 8.5 by 11, 15 pages on influencer marketing and how to use influencers without paying, or there's paid and unpaid, but I prefer unpaid. Influencer marketing to sell products or services, mostly products. And then that 15-page guide is actually part of one of the books that's almost done, which is how to it's basically how to launch like beauty industry products. Because I spoke at the Magic conference, and then and we talked about that stuff, and that was really cool. And then I had some other content already, so I put it all together into like how to start, launch, promote, and how to do the whole beauty industry, whether it's makeup, fashion, products, all in that space. Because I've worked with like easily over 100 people in that space. and like good brands and good stuff. You know what, when I was one of my first job when I was 15 was selling men's suits. I did, and then I went from men's suits at this like franchise place to I worked at Nordstrom's. I sold ladies shoes for 2 years at Nordstrom's, and I did pretty well. And then after Nordstrom's, I did financial products, and I did legal products, and I did this and I did that. I like sales, but people always like that stuff. And what I like is that I've done pretty much every job you can think of. So when it comes to consulting, people say, "Oh, I'm opening a donut shop." Like, I eat donuts every day, so I can help you. You know, I get manicures and pedicures. Worked at a whole bunch of nail salons. You know, so and they give me gift cards. I give them out to people, so it's fun. All right, so hopefully we learned something, and hopefully people are motivated and inspired to do something. Maybe like they can schedule a free call or not.
I would imagine so. Yeah, there's a lot of great information here. And yes, we'll re-put the information in the chat. If anyone has any other questions, we got a couple more minutes to put it in, but I just want to repeat some of our final information. I want to make sure to thank you, David, for your presentation. We're really appreciative of your time and also the time that you spend as a Small Business Development Center advisor. David provides no cost free consulting. It's a really great opportunity thanks to our SBDC. If you want to work with David and you're not a client at our center, you can use the Calendly link that's in the chat to get started. This is going to sign you up for an intake appointment with one of our intake specialists, and you can let them know that you attended today's webinar and that you want to work with David. If you're already a client of ours, then you can use his live VCTA link in the chat as well. And of course, if you're unsure, you can call our main phone number at 805-409-9159. Again, that's 805-409-9159. And I also want to mention that in addition to helping you with online reputation management, our EDC SBDC consultants are ready to help all kinds of problems and help you answer questions and navigate today's complex business environment. We have financing for small businesses. We can help you get access to advising in legal compliance, human resources, international trade, business model pivots, and so much more. As I mentioned, we have a team of over 50 business advisors, all with very unique backgrounds. So it's a really great opportunity. You're also welcome to meet with more than one advisor. So if you want to meet with David to talk about online reputation management, you can also chat with one of our finance advisors to talk about different opportunities that are available in our region or what loans might be right for you. All of this can be accessed using that Calendly link, David's link, or by calling us at our main phone number. And I'll be sure to mention one more time that early next week, you're going to receive an email from us with a recording of today's presentation, the PowerPoint slides, and all of this information again. So in case you don't catch it today, you'll have all the copies that you need.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And have a very good day.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.